ground, don't disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started, it's the hardest. Talk around, don't disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. Yeah,
get your boots ready. We're about to go on a trip where we wrestle, nobody settling or calling it quits. You're here for the grit, betcha this stuff is amazing. You're stumbling? Welcome to the bump in the apron. Step into it, the hardest part of the ring. Here to bring fun, yeah, in this art he is king. It's the best thing, making sure you don't tap out. Don't go soft with the hardest podcast out. And it's not just another one, it's clear. Off the rest, in this content, none contest. Take the nonsense off the steps. You know it's nothing but pure gems when it's coming off the chest. Get it? Now it's time to sit and relax. Get your mind blown away, ain't no skipping this track. Have you paying more attention, no listening gap. Get everything I ever wanted, no giving it back. Yeah.
Ooh. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the hardest part of the ring. Some also know me as Kyle. How is everybody doing today? Who's ready to bash? Hope you got your water wingies. Hope you got your sunscreen. Hope you got your fountain drinks, your D batteries, your popcorn, whatever you want to throw at Hulk Hogan. Hope you got that as well, because we got Bash at the Beach 1996. Doggy, whoa! Look, I've been trekking along this timeline for I don't know, probably over 3 years at this point. Started at WrestleMania 10, Spring Stampede 1994. Have worked my way through 94, through 95, through the first half of 1996, all in anticipation of this show, this legendary show on July 7th, 1996. Of course, I mean, there's a lot happening on this show. There's title changes. There's arguably the greatest opening match in pay-per-view history. We got things hanging from poles. We got Lord of the Rings at stake. We got taped fist matches. We got dog collars. We got sand. We got rubber sharks. But everybody knows this show for one thing and one thing only. One of the most legendary moments in pro wrestling history. It's something that would change the landscape of wrestling for years to come, to this day, really. You guessed it. Joe Gomez versus Steve Mongo McMichael. The Desperado, Joe Gomez, making his pay-per-view debut against the newest member of the Four Horsemen, Mongo McMichael. It's really just a microcosm of where society was and still is. You know, you got one guy who's wearing shitty black tights and has greasy long hair versus another guy with shitty black tights and greasy long hair. Not really great tans between the two. It's like what people thought was jacked in like the 40s, right? Like they got that kind of build, but both of them do. It's really kind of a clash of it's the immovable force versus the immovable object. It was just an explosion of emotion, and I can't wait to talk about it. But oh yeah, then Hulk Hogan, I think, turned heel or something on the show and established the NWO, which, you know, may or may not have gone on to have an effect on the company and wrestling as a whole. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. You know, we'll keep along this timeline and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, so there's some stuff to talk about on this show, I would think. And who better to talk about it with than with a guy a fellow who has become the go-to WCW guest, Tim King, from the Tim King Show and from the Fanatics Network. The Fanatics Network, you can find anything. I mean, they talk wrestling, They talk sports. They talk Broadway. They talk about the deforestation of South Asian countries and its economical and social effect on the human race. They talk about it all. You want to hear some entertaining guys and gals talking about all that stuff. Go check out the Fanatics Network. All that stuff is in the description below. And check out Tim King. He talks football. He talks baseball. He talks pickleball, wrestling, all the things you like. And just a sweet, sweet boy with very pinchable cheeks. So follow Tim, follow the Fanatics Network. And hey, while you're at it, while you're just following people willy-nilly, how about you go ahead and follow your boy? How about you go ahead and follow the hardest part of the ring at Apron Bump on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, I think that about covers it. Again, all this info is in the description below, but check her out. Check out the YouTube. Check out the audio. Check out the grinder. Check out the Omegle. You know, all of the things. Subscribe, like, rate, review, all that shit. Hey, if you like this type of stuff, you like 1990s wrestling, you like the Monday Night Wars, you like all the tomfoolery and all the interwebbing shit between WWF, WCW, ECW. Hey, we cover that all on the Apron Bump. Go to apronbump.com and you can go to the episodes tab at the top and you can select any promotion, any era you'd like to hear me talk about in chronological order. And you can select Wrestling Wars of the 90s, and that'll bring you to all of the WWF, ECW, and WCW events in order for all of those companies. And there's a lot of people jumping back and forth, and we're going to be entering a time period here in the immediate where it's going to be a lot of shots back and forth. So it's a good old time talking about it. And yeah. Do that. Speaking of Wrestling Wars of the 90s, make sure you stick around to the end of the podcast where we will not only grade this show, but we'll see how WCW is comparing to WWF and ECW as the hardest promotion battle of 1996 continues, where the winner at the end of the year will get a belt purchased by me. So whichever company wins, I'll buy a belt of this era from that company. Well, it's all WWE, but you know what I mean. Maybe I'll hang it behind me. Maybe I'll wear it around my waist during the podcast. Maybe I will just be naked and wear nothing but the belt. Who knows? But do that. Stick around to the end because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about after this show's over. So I'm done babbling. Let's get to the show. WCW, Bash at the Beach, 1996. With myself and Tim King from the Tim King Show and from the Fanatics Network. Oh shit, hold on. I can't hear you. Oh fuck, suck me off. Hold on. Here we go.
Can you hear me? There you go.
All my settings are jacked up now. I'm in a new browser. Oh, there he is.
Are you good?
Howdy, partner. We're all good. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. How do I sound? Is this the right mic? It's not coming from my camera?
You sound great. You look great.
You look great. Let's have sex.
Your shirt says it all, bro.
Chubbies? Yeah, just saying what I am, you know?
No, you got me going a little bit.
Just chubbing you up, you know? God, do it for a little WCW. You got the sleeves out? Like, it's winter, but you're like, fuck it.
I took them out for you. Yep. I took them out for you, bro. Just for you.
Do you have hairy shoulders?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I guess it's like not patchy though, just kind of like adequately there. Just kind of like flows with the rest of it.
No, I mean it's fine. I have no hair on my shoulders, and I didn't know if that was like a abnormality or I am Asian though. I'm pretty hairless in most places.
I think the last time we talked, ironically,
did we?
I think the last time we talked, about another one of your body parts that doesn't have hair. I think it was your legs, maybe.
Yeah, legs. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Talking thighs, probably. And
probably. You do have beautiful, beautiful thighs.
Oh, so. Please. God. Please.
Your legs. I like when that troll on Twitter said something about your face, and how dare you say something about sweet old Tony Khan and not show your face?
How dare I?
You coward. And I like how you put that sexy picture of you. And I was
my
like,
thighs but I already had my face in my profile picture, but I threw all the gams at them. Just stick it to them, you know?
Yeah. God, got me going a little bit. Respectfully.
Some may say maybe I dropped the leg on that guy, but
3 times? You do it 3 times?
Was it 3 times? It was a lot. There was a lot of legs.
3 times, yeah. Savage was dead. He was dead.
I mean, I don't know if you can kill somebody with leg drops, but goddamn Hulk Hogan tried.
Bro, this man could not. I mean, Sting was literally like dragging that man's carcass. Damn, this is the most selling I've ever seen, like from a leg drop. It's wild,
dude,
man.
I didn't know where Sting was for a long time. He just died at some point, and he was gone.
Yeah. Sting died. Luger died.
Yeah, Luger died right off the bat. Jeez,
the third man. What? And Luger never came back, which made it very interesting.
I feel like if I was watching live, I would have been like, yeah, Luger's definitely the third man.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Or like at our age now, watching it, it's Luger. Yeah. There's no doubt it's Luger.
But he wasn't. So he's just a pussy. Is that the story? Nothing happened to him.
Where's Lex? Like, why is he just out for the match? Like, he's just gone, stretchered out from a Stinger splash. That's your story?
All that muscle for no reason, man.
I guess I'm nitpicking now. I guess I'm just nitpicking.
Nitpicking. It's all Gucci, man. But
I enjoyed that part of the match. You know, it was a good match.
It was an interesting show, man. It was fun fact. This show is the 4th highest rated WCW pay-per-view of all time, which I couldn't believe. I mean, I guess maybe in hindsight, I don't know, like when people vote or when cage match became a thing, but yeah, I mean, it was from top to bottom. I mean, we've covered a lot of shitty WCW shows, and I mean, I don't know. Do you think this is the best one that we've covered so far?
Yes. This is not a childhood ruiner. It was fun, dude. Rey Mysterio and Psychosis threw down, bro. Yeah. I was watching it. My wife was there, and I was like, all we see nowadays is flippity flop bullshit. Like that's every match. Everybody's flippity flopping. But this right here in 1996, this wasn't a thing. So watching it back then was crazy. Rewatching it now, just knowing that wasn't a thing, I think he might have made it more crazy. Like that match was just highly enjoyable. Psychosis going for the razor's edge or the sunset, whatever he calls it.
Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain off the top rope with Rey Mysterio reversing it into the Hurricane Rana or the Steiner. What was it?
Frankensteiner.
Frankensteiner. That's what he called it 3 times. And then on the last one, Tenay broke out the Hurricane Rana.
It's a Frankensteiner-like move out there. Fucking Mike Tenay. Trying to dumb it down for us WCW folk.
I'm not going to go too far into it because then we're going to talk about it. But during that match, they said that Scott Steiner was Rey Mysterio's idol growing up.
That's so funny. Like, I guess Ray's, I think he's like 20 or 21 here, but he's been wrestling for like 7 years probably. I don't know, when did Scott Steiner start wrestling? I feel like
Steiner was in the early 90s. I think he was in WCW in like the 88, maybe.
Yeah, because Ray was wrestling in like the 80s, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. That was and it's all because he does the fucking Hurricane Rana. Scott Steiner is his idol growing up. I was like, what?
Yeah, because Scott Steiner started in 86. So I don't know. Okay. Maybe. I mean, I'm not gonna call Rey Mysterio a liar, but maybe he just stole the Frankensteiner. It's like, yeah, he's my inspiration.
Right. Yeah, no shit. But no, that was cool. Yeah. We had a bunch of different random matches throughout the show. A tape fist match that didn't involve tape. We had John Tenta having to climb for a sock full of silver.
That involved more tape than the tape match.
Sure as fuck. Dude, you had a lot of low blows, dude. If you like ball touching, there was a lot of ball touching, kicking. Woman, oh my god, I don't think
she loves a scrotum kick. Loves it.
She does. She was a smoke show, dude. I don't know that I realized how big of a smoke show she was, but fuck, man.
Her or Liz.
I was just gonna say, as a kid, I always looked at Elizabeth like, oh my god, she's so hot. Watching it back, woman, all day. Like watching her flirt with Gene, and I'm just like,
oh man, get a little pre dripping down your leg.
Yeah, right. So did Gene. So did Gene. Fucking, I mean, that was enjoyable. That promo was enjoyable. Talking about going back cross street partying at the hotel with all the women and with women.
Oh, Gene fucks. I mean, that's there's no working on that. Yeah, that's Gene fucks.
He's great. He's great. You had all of Hogan's boys doing things there. You had Tenta and Bossman, the Nasty Boys. Ho! I mean, you had the whole fucking crew doing their thing, getting paid. You know, I enjoyed the fucking show. I really did.
It was a good show. Even Glenn Gilberti showed out for the Cruiserweight Championship. Well, kind of, but his tights were awful. But we'll get into that. So you were, I think we talked about this. You were watching at the time, right? WCW?
Oh yeah.
Did you because I mean this third man stuff, I mean, I watched all the nitros leading up to this thing, man, and it was hype. Like even in hindsight, I was like, man, there's like a buzz in the air. And apparently, like before the show, the hotline did like record numbers naturally. Do you remember calling the hotline at all during this time?
I never called the hotline. I got the magazines. I loved going to the grocery store with my mom. Walking the aisles, getting the magazines. But I never called the hotline.
Damn, missed opportunity. They should bring that back. I think there's no way that would end badly.
No. I think they kind of do with like the bump in Twitter messages, but those are probably fake.
I guess Twitter's kind of like that, yeah. But it's not as fun. You lose a lot of the charm.
Yeah, I mean, going to call Mean Gene and get the buzz. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of buzz, we got a couple of bumblebees in this opening match. You brought it up, Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio Jr. So I actually these guys had, I think, a couple matches in ECW. I rewatched one of them earlier today, actually, to kind of see if there's like a difference. The ECW one, I mean, it's ECW, so there was like obviously like chairs and they were diving into the crowd, like all that shit. But this one was a little more grounded than that one. It was still a great match. I mean, Psychosis is the bigger of the two, so a lot of this matches was like submissions, which is also like a lucha libre thing. Like people don't think submissions as lucha, but it is. So, but I mean, the cruiserweight division's just getting established at this point. But by golly, if you want two guys to establish it, these are your two boys right here. What'd you think of this one?
Fucking fire, man. I was sitting here, I was working, I put the show on, and I stopped working, man. All into this shit. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And I was like, I was like talking to my wife, I'm like, watch this shit. And, I was like, God, it's so good. It was so good. But while the match was great, Bobby Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, and Mike Tenay were just fantastic. Mike Tenay's great as always, doing his thing, calling out the moves and whatnot. But when Tenay calls out the move, Dusty and Heenan are like, "What are you talking about?
How do you know all these moves, baby? Guillotine leg drop? What the hell are you saying?"
That's right, daddy. But in the midst of it, Heenan's just dropping one-liners throughout the course of the match.
Dude, Heenan was on fire all night.
So good. This was like just vintage Bobby Heenan. Yes. Like when you think about good Bobby Heenan, this was great Bobby Heenan. And when he says Psychosis, his hair looked like Peg Bundy's. It popped me a lot. It was the one-liner that kind
is that All in the Family?
Married with Children.
Is that Al Bundy? No.
Yes.
Yeah, Al Bundy.
Yeah,
Al Bundy. Okay.
Yep.
I kind of knew the reference. I chuckled at it.
It was good. I was like, oh, that's good. It's like a bee's nest or whatever. So, but the match was fucking fire. As we talked about, I already forgot the name of the move, but the attempt from Psychosis on the Razor's Edge off the top rope and the reversal of the Hurricane Rana was just primetime shit, dude. You never would have seen shit like that back in the day, so I loved it.
Dude, that's terrifying to watch. The Splooge Mountain or whatever the hell it was called, the power bomb into the Rana, but Ray just snaps it off, like almost kills himself every time he does something like that, but never does, which is incredible. But yeah, I mean, Rana's all over the place. I mean, Ray's jumping off the apron. He jumps off the top rope onto the apron, like throwing Psychosis off the apron. Psychosis does this one dive, like right out the gate, that almost kills himself. I mean, he goes head first into the fucking barricade. Heenan's concerned. He says that he might have bent a horn on Psychosis, which
I didn't pick that one
up. He just slides him in there. He's so great. But yeah, I mean, it's just a high. I mean, you're not going to see any other match like this in WCW or WWF at the time. So, I mean, it was revolution. I mean, with 2023 eyes, it's good, but with 1996 eyes, I mean, this just makes your head explode, I would assume, if you're watching this at the time. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff. And onward and upward for both these gentlemen, I would say. But after that, we're back to Mean Gene, as we often do during these shows, and Conan is there with him. Obviously, a good buddy of Ray. I believe Conan inducted Ray into the Hall of Fame, didn't he?
Oh, he sure did. He went on and on and on, but it was good. But he went on.
Subdued Conan is so funny to watch because you expect the orale, glingo, loco, like all that shit, but he's just Rey Mysterio went out there and had a great old technical match, you know, and then he has the stupid fucking colors and the tassels. I mean, me and you have covered a lot of Conan's matches. He's been champion for like 160 days or something like that. I looked it up earlier. I think it's the longest U.S. title run of the Monday Night Wars, which is a fun little fact.
Wow!
Given how often they do title changes, like later on, I guess it's not too surprising, but still, it's a fun little stat if you're ever in a trivia situation. But Conan has a little interview, but that transitions us into the Carson City Silver Dollar match on a pole. Judy Bagwell, John Tenta versus Big Bubba. He's not a fish, he's a man. John Tenta versus Big Bubba. Man, where do we even begin? Why is this pole so tall, Tim?
Why is this a fucking thing in the first place? Like,
Bubba's a silver dollar guy. You look at him. Look at the leather. You know, that's a guy that pays with silver dollars.
Well, did he pay with fucking for his hat in silver dollars? Did you see that thing he was wearing when he came out, dude?
Well, how would you describe Big Bubba's aesthetic? I may have asked you this before, but I want your thoughts.
First of all, I thought he was in remarkable shape for this match. I really did. I thought he was like in great physical shape. However, his like black leather hat was just really odd. I didn't get that. The black leather chaps. I don't know what he's going for right there. But ironically, the match itself wasn't bad. It was just punches, and every time Tenta would get offense in, Bubba would low blow him or do some stupid dirty shit. But John Tenta, not a shark, not a fish, not an earthquake, not an avalanche, I think they said. I'm in theory. He is now a human, but he's a weird looking human because he's got this fucking mustache, and then he's got his head half shaved into like a mullet. And then I'm presuming that Bubba's the one who cut his hair like that as he tried to cut his hair during the match.
Very embarrassing, you see.
Yeah.
But John Tenta kept it like that because he wants to look in the mirror every morning and remember who did this to him, so that when he gets his revenge, it's revengey. I don't know. He walks around like this. Oh no, but
it's a real rough look. I was like, damn, Quake, that's not your finest hour right there, bro. Go put the go-go mask on you're about to put on or something.
I'm sure there's hipsters walking around nowadays with half heads and half beards. So
you can find someone who looks like anything nowadays.
Yeah. I think
no doubt.
You know what's great? I think John Tenta's like 25 here, if I remember correctly.
Not
25, but he's like probably 30.
He's only got to be like probably 35. Yeah, I don't know. He went from like prime to dead so fast. It was like so crazy, dude. Like, I don't understand. He's like the Humaga of back in the day. Like, you know how they like used to like build these guys up and then feed them to Hogan? That's like what the same shit they did with Cena. And then when he came to WCW, it was the same shit. He got that quick initial main event thrust, and then just character fucking dead, and then another character dead, and then
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's 30. He's 33, by the way. So we're
fuck off, dude.
Yeah,
33.
33 going on 60.
Fuck, Quake was so good for a big man too. I don't know. Now I'm not going to go on an earthquake fucking tangent right here.
Fuck him. Give him the avalanche.
But I thought Quake was always a very underrated big man, very skilled too, for his size. Yeah. Loved the natural disasters. But I digress. Jimmy Hart, the way he climbed the pole was very impressive. I don't know how you felt about that.
That's not the first time Jimmy Hart's worked a pole. Let me tell you something. Come on now, we're having fun. All right. Well,
brother.
I mean, it makes sense when he's with Big Bubba, who looks like his chaps should be assless. I mean, I think that'll just complete the look. But
yeah, he kind of looks like that little meme. Yeah, or not meme, but there's like a little like a sticker.
Oh,
we got like the hat and like the leather pants. That's kind of how Bubba.
Why is this like on your quick use, like your often used stickers?
Not often used. No.
Okay, no, you really know that one. No more questions on that.
Well, if you type in assless chaps into your iPhone, then that'll pop up.
I can't remember the last time I had to do that, but
I'm just kidding. You can't. There's not a sticker for an assless chap.
I bet there is. Call in if you know.
You should make one
with my own ass.
That would get a lot of money right there.
Nice and hairless. But speaking of hairless, these two are not hairless. But yes, there's a sock, I believe, of silver dollars attached to a top of a pole, which I would say is at least 20 feet above the top turnbuckle. I don't know where they got this pole. Maybe they forgot to get a pole and they're like, shit, grab one of the beams from the ring and just toss her up there. But that's so you could grab it and use it as a weapon theoretically, but none of these big bastards are going to do it. But before we can get to that part, well, first of all, commentary is like, oh, they should bend the pole and bring it down, which I thought sounded ridiculous, but then John Tenta would kind of try to do that after. So Bubba tapes Tenta like one of his wrists to the rope with athletic tape, just one hand, and then Bubba gets out like what I guess is supposed to be scissors to cut the rest of his hair. But if you look closely, they're fucking athletic tape cutters. Like they're meant to cut the tape that is around his wrist. Don't know why he didn't just use scissors, because it really came back to bite him when Tenta gets out of it with a low blow, grabs these athletic tape cutters and cuts the tape off his wrist and tries to cut the pole down with it. What do you think of that strategy?
The commentary team was behind it, which is why I was very confused by it. Like, yeah, all you gotta do is cut it in those 3 spots and the pole will magically fall down. I'm just like, all right, guys, whatever you gotta say.
No concern for where the pole is gonna fall. Might kill a little Mexican child in the crowd. Who knows, right? But luckily, Bubba stops this and hits him with a spine buster, which is pretty impressive. And then tells Jimmy Hart to climb the pole. And Jimmy sashays up this pole with ease, as if he was a greased monkey. Grabs this sock of silver dollars, slides down. He sees John Tenta is up. Tenta smashed Bubba with something. So Tenta's up, and Jimmy Hart sees it. Just the comedy of Jimmy Hart sliding down slowly is nowhere to go. And then Tenta grabs the sock of silver dollars, hits Bubba in the head with it, and gets the pin. So, but like you said, I did not hate this. It was silly, but I was entertained by it.
Yeah, it was different. It was from that awesome, incredible, fast-paced start to this goofy shit. But it's cool, man. It's a wrestling show. You want different stuff throughout the show. So
right. Well, we move on from that to if a promo was cocaine, I would say this next one pretty much personifies that. We got Mean Gene backstage with Sting, Lex Luger, and Macho Man. All these gentlemen have their faces painted. But by the way, I was watching this with my wife, and she's like vaguely familiar of this era, but she's watching this and she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "It's Sting." And then she like went through each person. I was like, "Yeah, that's who they are." And she's like, "So you're sure none of these people are Ultimate Warrior?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." But I could see the confusion because they all have the similar paint and it's the whole thing.
Luger, yeah.
I don't know. Macho Man cutting promos with his back to the camera will never not make me laugh. He's just out of his mind. But classic WCW stuff. That's what you want when you buy the pay-per-view, you know? So
God, those three guys, and had been like feuding a little bit, Luger and Savage, and they had teamed up. They had the War Games for a little bit. So I mean, these three guys had a lot of history. That promo, Savage was geeked though, just geeked. And then you got Lex, just we're gonna go out there and we're gonna get him and just fucking.
All you gotta do, man, he stays here. Just show those forearm veins, flex those pecs. That's all you need, Lex.
I love Lex.
Oh man, he's a treasure. I did not like Lex Luger when I started like going through these shows, but he's grown on me. I don't know what it is. He's just he's a likable fella, I think.
He is. He really is.
Love his package. The total package, that is. But boy howdy. We go from that to a Lord of the Ring taped fist match. Diamond Dallas Page versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So this is Duggan's thing. I'm sure you know. Duggan's thing is he'll has the tape with him. He wraps it around his fist and punches people, knocks them out. The logic of it is beyond me, but whatever. It works for Duggan. And now they're both taped fists, so now it's theoretically even. But DDP cuts Duggan's tape off with what looks to be scissors. I don't know why Bubba didn't use those, but I digress. The utility, whatever. But I don't know. What'd you think of this one? I have a lot. I have no thoughts, and also a lot of thoughts on this one.
I would say this was the worst match of the night if it wasn't for Mongo McMichael and Joe Gomez.
There you go. Thank you.
Hacksaw, I love DDP.
Do you love Hacksaw?
I do. Oh, I do love my guy.
Fuck off.
He's some sort of just an average guy, but God, he gets hot with the crowd. I haven't put in my notes. Fuck Hacksaw's over, dude. I mean, I guess it's just dumb idiots like me who just want to scream "ho" at the top of their lungs and USA at the top. I mean, come on, USA. You know what?
That's a good point, actually.
I fucking love Hacksaw. Goddamn right, I love Hacksaw, dude. But another one of Hogan's boys getting a match on the pay-per-view. And but DDP picks up the win as he should. Hacksaw never wins. I guess he wins the US title at some point. Had he already been the US champion?
Yeah, he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin in like 20 seconds and sent him on his way. I think that was for the US title.
Yikes,
so.
No good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's just what Hacksaw's there for. Be there, get the crowd hyped, and take the L. But the match was goofy as fuck. Just why are you having a tape fist match for a ring? You had two stipulations. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were saying because you can't wear a ring with taped fists.
Oh, see, that would have been a lot. That would have been a lot smarter. But
I don't know if it would have. I think maybe a little bit.
I mean, you could say like an Extreme Rules match for a world title, two stipulations for the match. But I don't know. A tape fist match for a fucking ring is kind of goofy.
Yeah, I suppose maybe a glove on a glove. Some may say, but yeah. I mean, the match DDP looked good in this one. I mean, we're still very early on in his run. I mean, still got the colorful tights and all the fucking fur vests and bullshit, but he's out there bumping his ass off, man. I mean, he's bumping like Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005. I mean, he's just bouncing all over the place, making Duggan look like a beast, but gets the cheeky win as they're fighting on the outside. Duggan tries to get in the ring, but DDP kicks the middle rope into the nards of old Jim Duggan, and then the Diamond Cutter, which is already a super over move at this point, and that gives old Dally the win. So he keeps his ring, which I don't know if he ever actually cashes it in for a world title shot, but it's a nice piece of jewelry, I guess, huh?
Is that what that was for? For a world title shot?
Yeah, man. He won the Battle Bowl at whatever the fuck, Slamboree. And theoretically, originally it was going to be for a world title shot at Great American Bash, which was the pay-per-view after it. But then they were like, never mind. What's that? Yeah, I guess the Big Show. And but that never happened. And people who have watched WCW before say that they don't remember him ever actually cashing it in. But I don't know. It's something to fight for, I guess, in theory.
I guess.
Yeah, it'll all work out.
Oh,
That's Yeah, it's actually I didn't think of it that way. But that's actually a really good point. It's crazy that Kevin Sullivan and the Giant are the same species. Thoughts? Like, one of them next to each other backstage. It's like, the fuck is this, dude?
Yo, bro, I think I wrote something down wrong along the lines of, it's just, I guess I don't need to go back because it's here, but Kevin Sullivan is just bad. He is so bad. Just so, like, what? He's just like a little pug out there who's fucking growling at people, and he's not tough, and he's just got this bulky, strong little body, but you know he's not going to be able to bite you, and just awful. He just sucks, dude. Everything about him sucks.
I've never met anybody that enjoys Kevin Sullivan, but he's here. He's on the booking committee, I think, at this point, or whatever the hell, or I don't know if that's at this point or if it's later, but he's around, and he's not wrestling as much nowadays. There was a stretch where he was in a singles match on every goddamn show, but now he's in a tag team match later, which isn't. It's involving the world title, so it's still shitty, but I don't know. But yeah, it's Kevin Sullivan. Even when he talks, it's like, okay, you look like a goober, but maybe you can talk your way into me being afraid of you. But he's just, let me tell you, Benoit. Like whatever that fucking accent is, like suck
the
my
Boston
cock.
accent. He's got the Boston thing going on.
Yeah, khakis in my khakis. Yeah, that guy. Well, at least he's got the Giant behind him, the world champion, even though it doesn't really feel like it, but I guess we'll touch more on that later. And then it cuts to Arn Anderson and Chris Benoit on the in the rampway, and they cut a promo because later on it's going to be Arn and Benoit versus Sullivan and the Giant, and if one of the Horsemen win, then they get a title shot. So they're explaining that and their intentions. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but in hindsight, whenever I listen to Chris Benoit cut a promo, I'm like, yeah, that's a murderer. like, yeah, we should have known.
No, I didn't quite feel that way. However, I did look at Arn Anderson and go, how the fuck am I supposed to think you're an enforcer? You got these goofy ass grandpa glasses on.
How
you're out
fucking
there in
dare
your
you,
underwear.
first of all.
Like, what are you doing? Take those fucking glasses off. Put some fucking pants on until you get to the ring. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry we're not all blessed with 20/20 vision like you, Timothy.
I'm wearing contacts.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it sucks. Yeah.
Don't throw stones at.
I'm just,
you know.
I digress.
Yeah.
Fucking Arn and his goggles out there on the fucking stage.
He can't. Well, maybe they didn't have contacts in 1996.
Well, fucking do it backstage then. Just make it to where he just needs a little light in his face. No, make him look tough.
It makes him look smart. He's an intelligent. He's a horseman.
An intelligent enforcer. All right, fine.
Yeah, that's what he enforces. His wisdom. He enforces his wisdom upon you. Come on.
Yes, he does.
Well, here's four guys who do not have any wisdom. I don't think we got the Nasty Boys taking on the Public Enemy in a double dog collar match.
Oh, fuck.
I loved this. I loved it. I loved every second. I wish like it was just like one chain with all of them chained together. That would have just created a much more of a clusterfuck than it was, but I would have enjoyed it. But
was this the original double dog collar match? Because I haven't seen it one since FTR and the Briscoes was the first time I've seen it.
ECW had done it before this.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's the only one I'm familiar with. But in WCW, I'm fairly certain this is the first one. I could be wrong, but
no, I'm sure that's fair. Yeah, this match was fuck, dude. The Nasty Boys were over as fuck too. You want to say what you want to say about Hogan's Boys? Bringing Hogan's Boys doing another match, but God,
yeah,
we are the boys. We are the boys. Nasty Boys. I'm like, yeah, shove someone in my fucking armpit. Let's go, baby.
Are you going to Pity City?
Yeah, I'll fucking shove someone in there, baby. I'll fight with the Nasty Boys all day, dude. I love the Nasty Boys.
Scissor your armpits together? Come on.
Oh, now we're talking, Daddy. Now we're talking, Daddy.
Yeah.
liked how they used the arena though, and they used the sand, and they used tables. And I wanna be honest. It's really sad to say because growing up, a lot of them are gone. My wife goes, I hate to say it, but how many people in this match are still alive? And I said, two of them. Unfortunately, two Wayne. But man, they both went Rocco Rock in 2001, Johnny Grunge in 2006. So they really didn't go too long after that. It's fucking wild, man. But Rocco Rock's out there just throwing his body around, dude. There's this table spot, dude, in the ring where this table just had no give.
The strongest table ever.
Dude, I was like, oh my God, this man's poor back, man. Oh, but dude. I enjoyed the fuck out of this match. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like the second match on the show, but more so enjoyable. So two goofy matches that I enjoyed. The Tenta match and this match.
Right. Well, I mean, this match gave us our favorite deal, which is the dual screens, so that makes sure that you can kind of see everything going on. But I mean, you kind of need it because I mean they're fighting, but there's the Bash at the Beach set has a big lifeguard stand and sand around it and rubber sharks, which get used as weapons, and surfboards and trash cans and chairs and tables and all that shit. Like you said, they're fighting in the sands. Rocco Rock jumps off the lifeguard stand onto somebody. Who cares? Rock jumps off and Dusty's like, oh, he must have heard somebody drowning. Which is a funny line.
And then Heenan's like, no, he drowned himself in the sand.
A lot of sand fighting on this show.
Yeah, they were great. God, Heenan and Bobby Heenan and Dusty were so good.
So good. So good.
So good.
You almost forget that it's a dog collar match at some point until like the chains start getting tangled around like the tables and preventing everybody from moving. Jerry Sags.
Did those chains feel very long to you?
I don't know. Did they feel short to you?
I thought they were long. Yeah, I feel like they were long. I mean, again, I just really seen the one double or dog collar match with FTR and the Briscoes, so I'm no double dog collar match expert, but those chains felt very, very long.
Well, whenever you're in a dog collar, how long is the chain typically?
I like to keep it about 9 feet so they can,
right.
Yeah, so maybe they weren't that long.
Yeah, enough room to helicopter, but you still want a little tautness. I see. I hear you.
For sure.
Pile drivers on the concrete floor, just casually, kind of off camera. I mean, these guys are just killing each other out there. In the spot you brought up, they finally make their way back to the ring, and Rock tries to do a senton onto a guy through a table, but I think it's Knobs moves and Rock just crashes onto the table, doesn't break. They try like another move, I think, and it doesn't break. But then eventually the Nasty Boys use the chain to clothesline one of the Public Enemy guys, and that gives the Nasty Boys the win. And then Tony Schiavone with a line right after the 3 count. He's like, that was a mess. That's all he says. Like, it's not wrong.
That was a mess.
Yes. It certainly was. And then the Public Enemy just keeps fighting after the bell, and the crowd is like silent to these guys just throwing. The table finally breaks. I think somebody just like falls through it on accident, but it's kind of a disaster. But again, it's dumb fun. If we have fun, that's all that matters, I guess, right?
I loved it. I really enjoyed that match, which I didn't think I was. I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking a lot of fun. All right. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, not every match can be a technical masterpiece. So, it's like a buffet. Sometimes you need some, what's a shitty thing at a buffet?
A vegetable?
A vegetable. Yeah. You need to have green beans on your, yeah.
Well, okay.
Have you seen Brian Knobb's asshole? Have I asked you this before?
No, is it out there?
I can send it to you if you want.
I'd love to see his asshole.
It's not bad. It's not a bad asshole.
No? Is it hairy?
No. Very smooth. Suspiciously smooth.
He waxes it.
Yeah, it's gaping too. But so.
Oh, well, he is a Hogan guy. Like the biggest Hogan guy. So God only knows what was going on. Like he is the Hogan guy. There's him and Brudai who are like, his
corn cobbers. Yeah.
So
Those pythons aren't his arms, is what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
It's got a whole bucket of pythons, but
enjoying themselves. Yeah.
So does Dean Malenko, probably, as he's defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Disco Inferno. Just two polar opposites here. You got the serious, all business Dean Malenko, and then Disco Inferno with Shake Your Booty. Looks like it's taped to his ass. You a big disco guy?
Fuck no. Catchy song. When I was a kid, I would sing the song.
How's it go?
Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is very catchy.
Like, moving and shit.
What does he do?
He's like moving, shaking his shoulders and shit. I can't move like that, but
I think you can.
He was pretty decent. But Disco Inferno overall, no, not so much. This match, though, I got to give good old Disco some credit because he came to work, and he worked in this match.
Yeah.
Good back and forth between the two. Loved how Malenko slapped the shit out of his mouth to start the match, dude. I was just watching this match like, fuck, dude. I wish Dean Malenko wrestled nowadays because, man, this guy would just be a world champion. Like, that guy, like, he's so good. Just so damn good. And the Texas Cloverleaf is my favorite submission of all time. So got to watch him slap it on Disco. And another match that was pretty damn enjoyable. And commentary put good old Disco over very hard, which I was surprised about. So.
Because I wasn't sure like what the dynamic going into this was, like who's a face, who a heel was, but yeah, you said it. Commentary was putting over Disco like he was taking on the world here because he was kicking out like big time moves. Like Dean hit him with a brain buster for a 2 count and a bunch of other moves where you know Disco kept getting to the ropes when he was in submissions and shit like that. So Disco came out looking great, I guess. But his dancing cost him a lot of opportunities because he would hit a big move and then he would like shimmy and sashay and check his hair and shit, which I get. But unfortunately, maybe cost him the match here. But yeah, dude, Dean Malenko, dude, he's just so crisp. Like everything he does. There's one point in the beginning of the match where like he has Disco in the corner and Disco shoves him back, but then Dean like does like a head spring up to his feet and then like locks in an arm lock. It's like, dude. It's so good. And that's a lot of this match is just Dean showing off his 1,000 holds, I guess. But Dean wins with the Tiger Bomb into the Cloverleaf, which is a sick combo. Quick tap out. Dean felt like a killer. And yeah, just more solidifying of the Cruiserweight division on top of Ray and Psychosis earlier. And it's looking good. Still early days, but it's looking good so far.
Yeah, really enjoyable show so far. A couple of good in-ring matches, couple of goofy matches. Enjoyed it.
Well, time to bring that to a halt because
glad you went with it.
There's no way anything could ruin my time here. Man, Steve Mongo McMichael, the newest member of the Four Horsemen, taking on the Desperado, Joe Gomez. What's your favorite Joe Gomez match?
I Googled him and all I could find was Eric Bischoff shoots on Joe Gomez. And I was like, okay, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. I got nothing. I then thought he might have been the Renegade. And then I was like, okay, he's not the Renegade.
They're teaming together, though, at this point, Gomez and the Renegade.
Really? So maybe that's why I thought they had some sort of correlation. Okay.
Yeah, okay, the deal was, so Gomez was going to debut on Nitro, teaming with the Renegade against 2 of the Horsemen. But the Horsemen attacked them backstage, so they couldn't. So I guess that's why this match is happening. But boy, howdy, I don't think I've ever cared less about a match in my life than watching stupid-ass Mongo and stupid-ass Joe Gomez.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
Looking like twins. Looking like, they both had...
They could have been partners, yeah.
I mean, it looks like 2 uncles at a barbecue just fucking around. You know what I mean? So it's...
It looks like that looks like your like carny match at your local VFW, dude.
Right.
Those are the 2 guys you got to. Was Joe Gomez a football player? He was a big fucking dude, man.
Let's throw it in the Google machine and find out because I'm curious about this Joe Gomez fella.
He's out there throwing like jumping chops. He's out there throwing one leg drop kicks. I mean, Joe Gomez came to work too. We talked about Disco coming to work. This match was awful, by the way. I'll say it again. But Joe Gomez came to work in this match. How many good Mongo McMichael matches can you remember? And I'm gonna say that. Just put my 4 up right now. I love that man very, very much, dude. Respect the shit out of him. But how many good Mongo McMichael's matches can you fucking can you name?
No, I mean, yeah. Honestly, the match, I can't even say it was like mechanically like bad. It was just so boring. It's so long. I don't know. It had to have been at least 15 minutes, which is way too long.
It was probably only like 7. But why was it? But still, it felt so long. Why was it so long? Why was it on this show? You couldn't have put that Arn Anderson match couldn't have been like 5 minutes longer or something. The Flair and Conan, like maybe 2-3 minutes longer. Why was this match? I guess how long?
Well, no, I was gonna say, especially like the show with the anticipation of the main event. Like everybody's here to see who the third man was, and this is just another roadblock on the way to finding out who it was. This match was it was 6 minutes and 44 seconds. No shot, bro. That's crazy.
But when they're boring like that, they feel like they went 13, 14 minutes,
That's so funny. I would have bet my bank account that this was at least 10 minutes, but damn, good thing I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it was whatever. The match happened. Steve McMichael wins with the tombstone, which I don't know who gave him that move, but definitely wasn't the Undertaker, that's for sure. But it needs something to be intimidating, I guess. So it worked. Didn't kill anybody with it, I don't think. Yeah, fun fact: this is Joe Gomez's only pay-per-view singles match. Which shocker, right?
No shock there. Nope. He was a big dude, though. I could see why you wanted to try to do a little something with Joe Gomez.
Sure, he's fine. He's just, I don't know, the desperado Joe Gomez. Fucking mother. Hey, did you notice there was a crab cam during their entrances? There was like a, it was like a camera. It was like in the sand, but it had like the pinchers on the side, so it was looking like a crab was walking out of the sand.
No, I didn't see that.
That was my main takeaway from that match.
Was it just that match, or was it for every match?
It's the only match that I noticed it in, but I could have just missed it. It's very possible.
Okay. Which is fair.
Well, we go from that to a title match. We got the United States Heavyweight Championship on the line. You got the champion Conan defending against Ric Flair, of course, flanked by Miss Elizabeth and Woman. Got his whole posse out there. And so we talked about Conan a little bit earlier. He's been champion for a long time since we started reviewing these shows, and he's hasn't had a lot of great matches. He had a pretty solid one with Eddie Guerrero a few months ago, but otherwise it's been a lot of one-man gang and El Gato and a bunch of other bullshit. Now all of a sudden he's facing Ric Flair for the title. So huge upgrade for Conan here. And I thought this was a pretty damn solid match. I mean, Conan looked great. I mean, he's like stronger than Flair, faster than him. He has more submissions. He has the high flying stuff, but Flair has to use his cunning and the ladies ringside to overcome this. But I don't know, it was kind of clunky at some points, but another match I enjoyed. What'd you think about this one?
Loved it, man. Conan came to work, dude. He got to put on a match with Ric Flair. They've been touting Conan as a huge Mexican superstar at this point. Yeah. So him getting to be in the ring with Ric Flair is awesome. It was a 2-on-1 match the whole time. It was Woman and Ric Flair against Conan the whole match. Yeah. So Conan didn't really have a chance. He did get his offense in, though. He had the nice comeback at the end when, of course, Woman got involved and cost him. Which, would you expect anything else from the dirtiest player in the game? Yeah. The Nature Boy winning the United States title feels a little random. But, hey, we'll see where it goes from there. I thought it was enjoyable. And it made Conan look really good.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's a beast, first of all. Like, you don't really think of Conan as like a huge guy, but you see him next to Flair, who is also a pretty big guy. He's just like a gorilla out there. Plus, he's still like kind of lucha, so he's kind of still flying around a little bit with like missile drop kicks and stuff like that. So he looked great, like you said. But yeah, woman's just, I mean, there's one point just in the middle of the match, woman just walks in the ring and kicks him right in the dick.
Oh,
with those heels on. Ooh, I would have came. Conan goes to the top rope. Woman shakes him off. But towards the end, Flair has the ref distracted. Woman gets on the apron, takes her heel off, stabs Conan in the face with it, and Flair gets the win with his feet on the top rope, which is funny. And Liz is distracting out there as well, but yeah, it was just a whole cavalry against the cone man, the cone zone. So, but it was fine. I don't know when Conan becomes what was his nickname? Not the Cholo. He had a name, didn't he?
K-Dog?
K-Dog, I guess K-Dog.
He's gonna join the Dungeon of Doom not so long from now, right?
Yeah, I know at some point he does. I have no recollection of this, but
why are they still a fight? That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this match and Conan, and I was thinking like he joins the Dungeon of Doom, and why the fuck is the Dungeon of Doom still a thing after this? Why didn't they just kill that thing? Fucking waste.
I think it's a thing for a long time, for like at least a year after this.
You still got Humorous coming, and Humorous was a big part of it.
I think Humorous is around somewhere.
Is he?
I think he's in the picture. I don't think he was on this show.
Oh, in the dungeon right now?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Okay.
And there's some other characters. Humorous and Ming, I believe, is a part of that. The Barbarian.
Face of Fear. Yeah, I love the Face of Fear. Oh, man.
Talk to me, Daddy. Big old meat. Oh, yeah.
Thrown away, baby. Oh, yeah.
Love it when you do that with your hand. I hope my wife's not listening. It's a hard one to explain. But Mean Gene's backstage, eavesdropping into the locker room of the Outsiders. He says he hears a third voice that sounds familiar. He can't put his finger on it. It's a bit muffled. I feel like if there's any voice you can pinpoint, it'd be Hulk Hogan, the guy that's been yelling into your ear for a decade. But
let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
But I don't know. Mean Gene's on the case, but he's not able to solve the mystery for us here. But speaking of mystery, we got a mysterious duo here. Kevin Sullivan, your boy, and the Giant, the World Heavyweight Champion, taking on the Four Horsemen, represented by Arn Anderson and Chris Benoit. So I guess, the main event, like maybe you don't want the world title to be overshadowed by the main event, but I don't know, maybe have a Giant versus Benoit match for the title. I don't know. Would that be crazy? I guess maybe we're saving that for Nitro, although I guess the dungeon won, so I guess that's not happening, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Why not just go Giant and Flair and go double fucking main event or some shit? Like make it big. I don't know. I get what you're saying though.
That'd be Gomez maybe versus the Giant.
Dude, come on. Joe Gomez would have came to work in that match. So
world champion, the Desperado. I could see it.
It could have at least boosted him to the TV title or something. That could have been cool.
Yeah, we would have not had Monday Night Wars if that happened. That would have been the cyanide for this company. But there's a lot of shenanigans here. So the dungeon, they make their entrance first, but Mongo's out there with a Pearl Harbor job. He has his briefcase, not the Money in the Bank briefcase, but the big sack of money he got to join the Horseman, and he hits the Giant in the back with it, and then the Giant chases Mongo to the back. So now it's just Benoit and Arn versus Kevin Sullivan, but then the Giant comes back, but there's no real fanfare behind. I don't know. It was kind of a silly match. Again, there's been a lot of that on that show, but I don't know. What'd you make of this tomfoolery?
My first confusion was, why the fuck were the Dungeon of Doom the faces in the storyline? Why were they trying to push Kevin Sullivan is this face character in Sarasota, Florida is his hometown. I thought he was from Boston, so I was confused about the whole thing. The Horsemen said that they're going to get Kevin Sullivan alone and they're going to beat him down. The Giant won't be able to get involved. That was the whole match. They beat Kevin Sullivan down 2-on-1. And Tony Schiavone goes, the place is going to go crazy when the Giant gets the hot tag. The place didn't go very crazy. They didn't care very much. Giant gets a win, I don't know, 90 seconds later. Only thing that I kept thinking about wasn't it Chris Benoit versus The Big Show when Benoit won his Royal Rumble?
And I thought of that as well, yeah.
Yeah, so that was what I was thinking about. I was like, these two will wrestle in the future.
Yeah.
Be a pretty big fucking stage. And, I mean, the match was whatever. It was just whatever.
Well, it was like, because like you said, like the Giant comes back eventually. Like it's like kind of off camera. Like they don't make a big deal out of it. He gets into the match. He like slams Benoit one time, gets on the apron, but then the Horsemen just regain control. So it's like the Giant didn't even make an impact when he came back. So he felt very secondary in this match, even though he got the win ultimately. But yeah, just weird. And the Dungeon being faces, yeah, is strange, I guess. Although I guess if maybe the long game is for Hogan to take the title, maybe they're trying to establish Giant as babyface going into that. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but
no, you know what? You're right, because then you got Road Wild coming up, and Hogan's going to take the belt from him, and there we go. So you might be correct, sir.
Maybe, perhaps. And then, man, Kevin Sullivan, like you don't. Like, he's in a lot of matches. He doesn't do a lot. There's a lot of punching and kicking from old Kevin Sullivan. But, man, he tried to do a back suplex in this match, and it made me want to rip my penis off and put it in my mouth. It was so bad, dude. It was just the worst back suplex I've ever seen in my life. Well, a lot of that. But, yeah, the Giant wins with a choke slam to Arn Anderson. And Benoit and Kevin Sullivan go and fight in the sand. So that happens. They fight back to the ring, and then Woman comes out, who I believe at this point is with Kevin Sullivan. Maybe? I don't know. It's a blurry.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she had crossed that real life barrier yet.
I don't know.
I would like to know why either one of those fucking guys was able to land that beautiful woman. Of all the wrestlers in the land, of all of them, Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit, dude, she was fucking primetime fine. Like, she could have done way better. Fucking.
She had Sandman before this. I mean,
oh my God, jeez Louise. She could have been with like Big Sexy or something. You know, Big Sexy. He's a big, beautiful man.
I'm sure Big Sex had a run in at some point. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a run in with a lot of them.
Gave her a jackknife. You know what I'm saying? It's with his penis. With his penis, everybody. But boy, howdy. No better way. Speaking of Kevin Nash's big old penis, he's in this next match.
A segue.
6-man tag, theoretically. We got the Outsiders, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, taking on the team of Lex Luger, Randy Savage, and Sting. Who's the third man, Tim? Who's that lady? Who's that third man? Did you have any guesses at the time?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Ooh.
What do you think?
You weren't that far off. I mean, he would come eventually, right?
I'm just kidding. No, I had no guesses at the time. I didn't get the backstage when I was a kid. I was actually a fan. Like, I actually like, and you'll hear my story. So I didn't. No, I had absolutely no idea. I was fucking clueless who it would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, in hindsight, I can't really put myself back in that position. I mean, I know people thought it was Mabel at some point, which would have been funny. Or Eric Bischoff has said on his podcast that another option they considered was Sting as the third man, which could have been something.
His mannerisms expressed that it could have been him too, walking down to the ring. He didn't look as fan oriented as he usually is, like engaged with the fans. It was just a couple quick whacks of each hand where Luger was with the fans and Savage was with the fans. And maybe it's because they were, so Sting couldn't. But the Sting that I know is all up in the fans, fucking hitting hands and shit.
Groping them. Yeah, that's my Stinger.
Yeah, so I was like, so that watching it, I was like, okay. And then Sting took out Lex Luger, so that also kind of tells that could have been Stinger's story.
So that establishes that it could be Sting or Luger. Maybe Luger's playing possum. Maybe Sting is sabotaging their team. Macho Man, he's on cocaine. You don't know what he's thinking. So really, I mean, you're looking at those three. It's like, oh, it could be any of those guys, or it could be Mabel or 1-2-3 Kid or Aldo Montoya. You know, it could be anybody. But it was not any of those gentlemen. But the match itself, you know, we see like the highlights of the leg drop and all that stuff and the promo all the time. I didn't really know much about the actual match. There wasn't much to it, I guess. It was a little clunky. Like Big Diesel and Razor hadn't wrestled in a while. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the energy about this match, though, I mean, everybody was like anticipating, like finding out who this third guy was. So I think the energy alone kind of carried this match. But I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on the bell to bell stuff? I guess
the bell to bell stuff. I too thought the same thing when I was watching it. I was like, I don't actually remember this match itself. So when Luger got taken out, I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. It's actually just a 2-on-2 match. Okay. Yeah. And then Sting kind of got all fucked up and wasn't around for a little bit. And Savage was doing what Savage does, just working. That's all he does is work. Yeah.
Come on.
And I like the double team stuff from the Outsiders. They always did. I always liked how they would put the fucking, oh my god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the most common move in wrestling back in the day. But you grab the arm, you fucking lock him in, you grab
abdominal stretch.
A fucking abdominal stretch, dude.
Fuck, who's like Wilbur Snyder, the guy who invented it. It's a fun fact, but we all know that.
Not only do you know the move, but you know who invented it. But
I'm a huge Wilbur Snyder. Yeah. And the double team grabbing the wrist is my favorite move in wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. And I like the the tags without actually tagging. So I like how they were establishing themselves as the heels. It was okay. It was okay. It was WCW.
It was a means to an end, I guess. Yeah. You know,
they could have put on a 5-star match and I would have honestly been like, it was fine. Just get to the fucking reveal already, you know?
Been edging all night, having to hold my blue balls during Joe Gomez matches to blow my load during this one. And those damn Outsiders are preventing it from happening. Like you said, Lex Luger gets stretchered out at some point. Sting gets beat down. It's 2-on-1 against him for a while. Then the build to the Macho Man hot tag was actually pretty sick. When they finally tagged him in, Macho clears house. I don't think Sting ever recovers after he tags him in.
He doesn't.
Macho clears house. Nash hits him with a low blow. Everybody's down. And then here is Mr. Nanny out here to save the day or whatever the hell he's been filmed. He hasn't been on TV since April, and this is May. So that's, I guess, only been like a month. But Hogan's back. He's black. Almost. Got that tan, brother. Hogan comes out and he's charging the ring, red and yellow. All that stuff.
But who is he here to help?
Whose side is he on? You didn't like Bobby Heenan there?
God, what a line, dude. What a great line.
Oh, you did like it.
Oh, I loved it. Bobby Heenan has hated Hulk Hogan forever.
Yeah.
Commentary, Bobby Heenan has said Hulk Hogan is a snake for the last, I don't know, my whole life.
Right.
So Bobby Heenan still saying, but whose side is, whatever the fucking line is, whose side is he on anyways? Or who's he here to help? Oh my God, as an adult, I appreciate that maybe more than any of it.
You don't think that numbed the effect when Hogan eventually turned?
No, because I don't think people realized it. I think people were just in the moment and probably didn't think about it.
Nobody probably heard it because everybody's like,
yeah, they're probably just like, what the fuck is Hulk Hogan doing here? I try to think of it as when I was a kid compared to now. When I was a kid, I didn't watch the actual pay-per-view live. I was in the Wisconsin Dells. I remember we had a family vacation and I had just got back from doing something and I put Nitro on. And the first thing I see is, the fucking Hogan turn, and I just melted down, started punching the pillow and shit, started crying. I sort of fucking got I was fucking had a meltdown. And my dad's just what the fuck is wrong with you? And I had already been a little bad on this trip, so he was probably a little already peed with me. But man, I got that night, and I wasn't allowed out, and yeah, I definitely faced the wrath of the good old father that night. All over Hulk Hogan's heel turn because I just couldn't comprehend it. Like it's wrestling, and I'm just like fucking. I freaked out. I fucking melted down. Like I melted down over this heel turn. So as a kid, I had no idea it was going to be him, and God, man, as an adult, I probably would have. That's wrestling was just so much different when you were a kid, man. Just,
dude, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you weren't the only one. I'm sure that was melting down about this, and I made like a point to like watch the crowd as this was happening to see everybody's reaction. It was like there were some cheers, some like kind of shocked faces, but everybody was into it. So I mean, I can't imagine. I don't think anything in my lifetime has been this. Maybe Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17 is probably the closest like to this kind of heel turn that I've seen, but. I mean, the dude has been a babyface among babyfaces his entire career.
Yes.
You got Hall and Nash in there who just, I mean, they've only been there for a month. They were just on WWF. It's like just a whirlwind of shit. Sting has black hair. I mean, there's sand, there's crab cams. There's just so much going on. And so Hogan comes in. Everybody knows. He drops the leg on Macho Man. 3 of them. And then makes a pin. They shit can the ref a long time before that. And Hogan makes the pin. Scott Hall makes the counts as if it counts. And Tony Schiavone is like, we're not even going to dignify that. Commentary still like, by the way, like, fuck these guys. Like, they put this moment over really well. I mean, dude, the heat. That even like watching in 2023, like watching the trash getting thrown. They cut this part off of Peacock, but apparently a fan stormed the ring. And Nash had to punch him in the face. You can find it on YouTube. It's hilarious. This heat doesn't exist anymore, man. It's just Hogan cuts his promo. What do you think of Hogan's promo after?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great, man. You just didn't see Hulk Hogan like that. The New World Organization of Wrestling, I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was awesome, dude. And I like how he said, I was over there. Who knows over there better than me? I fucking outgrew that. I think he was still trying to insinuate though that he was over there still, but he was bigger than the wrestling business because he was like, Ted Turner can fuck himself. He promised me all this shit. He can get fucked. I liked it. He was rambling.
Is that what he said? I must have missed that part.
Ted
Turner can get fucked, brother.
In certain words, he said Ted Turner can get fucked.
Suck my cock, Ted. Yeah, must have
go join Knobs in the fucking other room, Turner.
Yeah, it was. He had like a different voice, which I thought was kind of cool. I guess he's a new character, a new man, so to speak. So he had a little more gravel to his voice. But yeah, but he's basically saying that he outgrew the WWF, and then he only came to WCW for the money, for the movies, and says that now he pretty much says that he's bored, and so that's like why he's doing all this, because I want something to do. I don't know, but in reality, the whole thing with the red and yellow shit had just gotten so stale. Like just watching through it in real time is brutal with the fucking Doomsday Cage shit and the monster trucks and all this stuff. It's just ain't hitting. But hindsight 2020, one of the best moves in history to turn him heel. So
oh yeah, best story in wrestling history. I mean, there will never be another like it.
Tony Schiavone. His go home line is Hulkamania is dead. Go to hell, which is just so good, just from top to bottom. The commentary has been killing it. But yeah, the ring is just littered in trash. The balls on Mean Gene to get in there in this hostile environment to try to even get words from Hogan is incredible. But I thought it was great. I mean, it's a moment that I've seen highlights of, but to like watch from the start to the finish, it was just great shit, man. Great shit. But yeah, man, that brings Bash at the Beach 96 to a close. Any other thoughts on this lovely, lovely show?
Yeah, I appreciate getting to watch it because it was far better than uncensored 1996, which I
Yeah.
think I did with you. So
Yes.
yeah, a much better show 6 months later, 4 months later. Fuck.
Okay. At times, a circle, man. It's not real. But yeah, I was a fan of this show. Some may say a fanatic. But speaking of which, thanks, Tim, for once again checking out some WCW, coming on and talking about it. Where can everybody find your beautiful mug and listen to you speak and
Oh,
kiss
bro,
and tickle?
oh man, you can come kiss and tickle me anytime you want, baby. Man, oh, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, dude. Anytime you got any old school nostalgic WCW stuff that you want to try to ruin my childhood with, I am down to come on. This one just happened to be fantastic. So I really appreciate you making my day better by getting to watch that show and getting to talk about that show. But you can find me on the Fanatics Network on YouTube, Twitter, and on the website if you like sports, wrestling, entertainment, fantasy football, everything we do, thefanent.com. Check it out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, can you take us out with some Disco Inferno?
Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever. Yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Fantastic. Let's go see how long you would do it. Once again, thank you to Tim from the Tim King Show and the Fanatics Network for once again joining me on this lovely, lovely ride down memory lane about WCW. What an event. Lots going on. Hey, let's talk about it by hitting that jingle. WCW, ECW, WWF, who's the hardest promotion? Eric or Vince or Paulie? I think we can agree, though, it's mostly shit. Alrighty then, the hardest promotion, Battle of 1996. If you're a first-time listener / watcher, basically what we do is we compare, at this point in time, July 7th, 1996, we compare WCW to WWF and ECW. We compare them overall. We compare their pay-per-view qualities. We compare their in-ring, their out-of-ring, their rosters, the characters, the storylines. We get into all of this individually, and all of this equates to points. And whoever has the most points at the end of 1996 will be the winner in the hardest promotion of 1996. As of right now, WWF and ECW are tied for the lead with 10 points. WCW pulling up the rear with 2. But there can be major swings given, just a few things changing here and there. We'll see if anything changes. But the first thing we got to do is grade this show. So this is from a scale of S to F. S being one of the best shows of all time, to F being the drizzling shits. So, where does Bash at the Beach 1996 lie? So, I'll tell you this. Maybe the best WCW show that I've watched so far, I would say. And as of right now, I mean, we're looking at the grades of previous WCW shows. We see a couple C's, there's some F's. C's and F's, I think, is all WCW's gotten so far. It's definitely at least a C. Now, I hear what a lot of you guys are saying. I mean, Bash at the Beach, in hindsight, maybe it's probably one of the most significant pay-per-views that has ever occurred in wrestling. So you could argue an S or an A just based off of that. However, we do not take into account hindsight during this thing. We are in a moment of time, in real time, grading these shows without the context of what happens afterwards. So with that being said, Bash at the Beach, because top to bottom, I mean, you had Ray versus Psychosis. You got the dog collar match was fun. You obviously the main event and everything that happened there. You have Conan and Flair was pretty good. The quarters on a pole match was entertaining, good or bad. It was entertaining. So I'm thinking B. Because Great American Bash, Slamboree, those got C's, and I think this is definitely a tier above. So I'm gonna throw a B at Bash at the Beach, 1996. So we go over to the next tab and see which company has the highest average grade. Still at this point, WWF with about a B, whereas WCW is slightly above ECW and in about the C plus range. But WWF is still the best performing pay-per-views on average. So we bring us back to the scoreboard. By the way, on YouTube, I will be sharing my screen here if you want to walk through it visually. But again, in audio land, I'll talk you through it. So best overall average pay-per-view grade. Currently, WWF still remains the best as of right now. So they keep those 6 points. Best pay-per-view, WWF WrestleMania 12 currently holds this. I believe it's the only A-graded pay-per-view. So they maintain that with 2 points. Worst pay-per-view, WCW Super Brawl. WCW still holds on to that for -1 point. In-ring. So just best overall in-ring. We're taking into account the pay-per-views, the TV, and all that stuff. Right now, we're tracking ECW as the best. I would say it probably stands. The cruiserweight division in WCW is heating up for sure. Everything else is kind of idling in terms of quality. I mean, we're talking just bell-to-bell stuff, right? We're not taking into account the storyline stuff or whatever. Bell-to-bell, I think ECW on average. Well, I'll tell you this. Full transparency, I've already watched the ECW Heatwave show that's after this, and we might see some changes. But right now, we're just gonna keep it at ECW for now. So they keep those 4 points. Best match, we are tracking Shawn Michaels versus Diesel at In Your House 7 as the best. Did anything on this Bash at the Beach change that? So I would say probably best match of the night is Ray versus Psychosis. Right? I would think so. Because the main event, I mean, it's not the match that was good. It was, So is Shawn versus Diesel better than Ray versus Psychosis? Honestly, man, I would say so. I think Shawn and Diesel still takes this because they're different matches, right? I think Shawn and Diesel, just the emotion that was involved on top of the quality in-ring stuff, the announce table spots, the Mad Dog Vachon leg spot, like all the chairs and stuff. It was a street fight. Felt like a street fight. You felt the animosity. I just love that match. And I don't think Ray and Psychosis, while very impressive, I don't know if it tops that. So I'm going to keep Shawn and Diesel here. So WWF keeps those 2 points. Worst match, Ultimate Warrior versus Goldust at In Your House 7. Is that worse than Steve McMichael versus Joe Gomez? Yeah, because when we talked about it, Gomez and McMichael, it was super boring and so stupid that it even existed. But mechanically, it wasn't terrible. And ultimately, it was like, 6 or 7 minutes? Whereas Ultimate Warrior versus Goldust was just an abomination on all fronts. So I think that we're going to keep that with WWF for -1 point. Roster, star power. WCW currently holds this. So we're talking, the star power of the roster as well as the ability. I mean, this show, I think it only enhanced that for WCW. So I see no reason to take that from them here. So they keep those 4 points. Wrestler of the Year, currently tracking Shawn Michaels. Who on this show could overtake him? You can go like Macho Man, Sting, maybe Hogan eventually, purely off of the shenanigans. Maybe Ray if he keeps up this body of work, Because, I mean, his match with Dean, his match with Psychosis, all the stuff he's doing on Nitro as well. Ray might possibly overtake him. Or even like Dean Malenko, perhaps. Ric Flair even is in the running, I would say. But as of right now, I think Shawn kind of, with his matches with Bulldog and Brett and Diesel, I think Shawn's body of work, as of this moment, is still the top. So Shawn keeps that at 2 points for WWF. Worst Wrestler of the Year, Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, I mean, maybe Mongo eventually. Maybe Sullivan might actually... Ooh, do we put Kevin Sullivan back there? Because I did have Kevin Sullivan in this. But Ultimate Warrior just kept having stinker after stinker. And I took Kevin Sullivan off because I was like, okay, he's kind of fading into the back. He's more of a manager, but he just had this awful performance on this show. Oh, do I go Warrior or do I go Sullivan? And Warriors, he's left the WWF at this point, so he's gotten nothing else to contribute, even in a negative way. I'm gonna keep Warrior there for now. I'm gonna keep Ultimate Warrior there for now, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. So WWF keeps that -1 point. Out of ring. So now we're talking gimmicks, characters, promos, storylines. Best overall, we're tracking ECW. Oh, okay. So both the best overall and the best character belongs to ECW at this point. We're tracking Taz as the best character. And overall, ECW, just the best out-of-ring stuff. The NWO just got formed on this show. So I don't know if we can for sure put this at the best yet. But what else do we got going on? We got the Four Horsemen stuff, which is kind of disjointed. Tenta and Bubba. You got DDP and Duggan. Not a lot of strong stories from WCW outside of course, what the main thing is, which is just kind of kicking off. So I don't think we could put WCW at the top yet, but I'm sure they will overtake it at some point. So we're going to keep ECW as the best overall because they got so much stuff happening with the TV title and Raven and Sandman. You got Raven and Dreamer also. You got the Eliminators and the Gangstas. You got a lot of good stuff happening in ECW, plus the Dudley stuff, the FBI stuff. It's just very top to bottom, just very good. So ECW keeps those 4 points. Taz as the best character storyline. Again, we'll keep him here for now, but that will likely change in the future. Worst character storyline, Dungeon of Doom. Look, I kept Kevin Sullivan out of the Worst Wrestler of the Year, but I think the faction as a whole is still the shittiest. I mean, Mongo, Joe Gomez, Jim Duggan even. I mean, it's all WCW, so it doesn't really matter. But we're going to keep Dungeon of Doom there for -1 point. So that being said, I don't think we've seen any changes this week. So WWF and ECW still tied for the lead at 10 with WCW at 2 points. But now that the NWO has kicked off, we might see some flux here coming up shortly, but not quite yet. So that's where we stand. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Send a tout. Do whatever you would like. I'm always open for suggestions. I'm always open for a debate. So hit me up if you do wish. But I think that's about all Daddy has for you today. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a fun ride today. Bash at the Beach 1996. Legendary show. Glad you could be here to join me. And hey, also, by the way, I'm hard.
Yeah.
is the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it.